Welcome and greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs and our virtual service. We are so glad that you have found us today. To those of you who are finding us for the first time, welcome, and thank you for being with us. My name is BettyLou Cummins, and I'm honored to be your worship associate today. We offer warm welcomes to all who are with us. If you've been lonely during our time of troubled and journey through COVID, with us you will find a warm companionship. If you are afraid or if you have been hurt, if you ache with fatigue, here you will find rest. You will be comforted, your spiritual wounds will be addressed, and your courage will be returned to you. If you seek to understand, here you will be encouraged in your search. New pathways will be lit for you, and wherever your journey takes you, you will know that you can always come home again to this place, made sacred by our love. We are a church of many welcomes. I welcome you now, and I hope that we can greet you in person on a future pandemic-free day at our location in Tarpon Springs. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the worth and dignity of each human being. Each person on earth has an equal claim to life, liberty, and justice, and no idea, ideal, or philosophy is superior to a single human life. We welcome all thoughtful people to journey through life's mystery with us. We want to walk with you on the way of holiness and happiness, justice and service. We hope that you feel the blessings of love through your time in our presence. As a congregation, we seek to create a diverse and accepting community based on the principles of our faith, Unitarian Universalism, and we are drawn together in voluntary loyalty. We believe that we need not think alike to love alike. Our message today will be brought to us by several members of our community, describing our experiences with a small group ministry that we have termed a covenant group. The musical portion of the service will be provided by our musical director, Bonnie Whitehurst. We come now to the silence and our chalice lighting with words by Deborah Burrell, "A flame to light our path. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace." We will have a special video for our story today.
There was a monastery which had fallen upon hard times. Once a very great order, it suffered a loss of spirit, so that there were only 5 monks left, all over the age of 70. Clearly it was a dying order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was an old shack, to which a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used to come for hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic, so they could always sense when the rabbi was in his hermitage. "The rabbi's in the woods. The rabbi's in the woods again," they would whisper to each other. Agonizing over the imminent death of his beloved monastery, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the rabbi and ask if by some chance he could offer any advice that might save the dying order. The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his shack, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he exclaimed. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said. "But I have still failed in my purpose for coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "No, I am sorry," the rabbi responded. "I have no advice. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned, his fellow monks crowded around him. "Well, what did the rabbi say?" "He couldn't help," the abbot answered. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us." In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's parting words. "The Messiah is one of us?" Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here at the monastery? If that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He's been our leader for more than a generation. But then he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly he couldn't have meant Brother Elred. Elred gets crotchety. But come to think of it, Elred is virtually always right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Elred. But surely not Brother Philip. He's so passive, but then Philip is always there when you need him. He just mysteriously appears at your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did, suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that much for you, could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect, on the off chance that one among them might be the Messiah, and on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah. They began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was located was so beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go into the chapel to meditate. As they did, they sensed this aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently, to picnic, to play, to pray. They began to bring their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them. Then another, and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, and, thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm.
The offering for the work and welfare of our church will be given. You can either send a check to 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, 34689, or you may give online at uutarpon.org. Thank you.
This reading is from Reverend Sean Parker Dennison, entitled Keeping Our Connection Strong. I feel like I'm on a constant hunt for hope these days. I have to be. Every time I look at my phone or open my laptop, I'm overwhelmed by stories of violence, disrespect for life, greed, and selfishness. When I listen to my friends and loved ones or to conversations in coffee shops, it feels like everyone is dispirited and disheartened, and that is dangerous. The danger of hopelessness is a double danger. First, hopelessness makes us feel like it's useless to take action. It fools us into believing there's nothing we can do, or that our efforts won't make a difference. Once we abandon hope, there's no stopping the momentum of the unscrupulous who are willing to cooperate with evil in order to get ahead. The other danger of hopelessness is that we can lose each other. In times of hopelessness, it's easy to get scared of everything and everyone. It's easy to start believing that your neighbor is the problem and that hoarding is a better strategy than generosity. The problem is that when community starts to break down, we lose the most important source of hope we have, each other. The message of hope that still blazes bright for me in these hard times is that I am not alone. I don't have to face the world alone, and I don't have to fix the world alone. When I need hope, I find it in the faces of my people. I find it in their hearts. When we find each other again and stop hiding out, thinking we're the only one. I find it when we come together in community to sing, to bless one another, to mourn, to strategize. All we need is hope, and for that, we have each other. My name is Mark Hopkins, and I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. It's my privilege to spotlight a special opportunity for spiritual growth this fall. Once again, you'll have the opportunity to join a covenant group. A covenant group makes connections with others possible in a safe space where you can explore deeper meaning. Those of us who took part in the spring will tell you that this small group ministry enabled us to grow personally and spiritually. You'll hear from some of the earlier covenant group members shortly in this service. What can you expect of a covenant group? Well, once a month for approximately 10 months, you'll gather for about 2 hours. At the outset, your group will agree to a set of practices, a covenant, that will guide all your gatherings. I took part in the first covenant group in the spring, and our covenant included these. Speak from your own experience, use I statements. Listen deeply and respectfully with an open mind and heart, and respect confidentiality. What's said in the group stays in the group. Each month, the gathering follows the theme the minister has chosen for the congregation, so it's a chance to integrate and deepen understanding. Last spring, we explored themes such as belonging, integration, and courage. The flow of each gathering is one of the unique features of a covenant group. The monthly theme is introduced, then expanded through a series of thought-provoking quotes from a rich variety of sources, like these on the theme of courage. Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Brene Brown. The opposite for courage is not cowardice, it is conformity. Even a dead fish can go with the flow. Jim Hightower. Following some time for quiet reflection, the group enters a round of conversation where each person speaks one at a time, uninterrupted, and with no comments. Then the next person goes in the same manner, and so forth until everyone has had a chance to speak. There's never a demand that anyone does speak, just the opportunity. Next, the group enters a round of open crosstalk. Speaking respectfully, group members now comment at will and freely. This entire process is carried out once more, this time following a set of questions chosen to deepen understanding and conversation, like these. Where do you turn for inspiration when you want to feel more courageous? How is courage connected to your spirituality and your community? Of course, we have a chalice lighting at the beginning and at the end to mark this time as a spiritual community. I realize that describing the formula won't give you a full sense of the richness of the experience any more than telling you that water is 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen will quench your thirst. But I hope it gives you a sense of what happens, because it's truly something remarkable. We recorded comments of members who were part of the first covenant group earlier this year. Let's listen to what some of them had to say.
Thanks. I was a little late to the party when it comes to the covenant group. I had heard about this when it was first announced and discussed within the congregation, and I really didn't think it was for me. How do you talk about something like wholeness for 2 hours? But afterwards, I had heard other people who participated kind of talk about it, and so I started asking a few questions, and I said, well, this could be kind of interesting. So the group was pretty liberal in allowing me to begin to attend, and the themes they come up with, or we come up with, are there's a universal, I think, definition to the themes, but we talk about what the themes mean to us and to each other. And so when I talk about meeting for 2 hours, I still thought, how are we going to get through 2 hours of this? Well, you know what? When the 2 hours goes very fast, and when it's over, you wish you can talk more. So again, as Greg mentioned, the format is set up to facilitate discussions. You talk about the quotes, you talk about questions that that are being asked. You talk with each other about your personal feelings and what the theme means to you. And at the end of the day, I leave every meeting with a sense of being a little bit better person. and a little bit better, and I have a little bit better understanding of how other people perceive things, and I get a lot out of it. So I hope other folks consider participating in these meetings in the future. I really think you'll get a lot out of it. Thanks very much.
Being part of this covenant group has really been a privilege, and I didn't think about it that way at the beginning, but it is a discussion that is not trying to get to a conclusion. There is no right answer and there's no end point. While we've been prompted with the word or the topic and then the quotes, it's really, to me, a personal inquiry in the confidence of others and broadened by the sharing of the others. So while in my work life I would have said strategic planning was about thinking together, this is really about thinking and feeling together in a safe space. Because of my jobs, I really had to filter my language and what I said out loud pretty much all the time. So I find this group very freeing, and having the freedom to respond to the word or the quotes as I think and feel without having to filter those comments so they match the image or the role or don't end up with a bad newspaper headline. I would share with you, I have found this time together very empowering and freeing, because each of us can take out thoughts or feelings about a topic that we might have been holding very close and very private, and bring them out in public, look at them, think about them, see them, and find out that it's still okay, that it was okay to get that thought out and to examine it and to review it. So I find the Covenant group very inspiring.
Well, I've been involved in other groups in the time that I've been a Unitarian Universalist, and I was involved with several congregations when they had covenant groups going on. And at those times, I was very busy in other activities in the church. And so I held back, I didn't get involved. But I would say I really thought about and decided to join this group because of COVID, because of the isolation that I felt. So it was an opportunity to, reflect on the theme of the month that the congregation was, having services about, but in a totally different way. And each time the theme came up and I had a chance to talk from my heart, I realized that my past religious, experiences, Jewish as a child, and then Jehovah's Witness for 28 years, really colored how I first thought. I had to filter the theme through those lenses first, and then I was free to reflect upon, how I felt about it now, and also how my fellow congregants, the people in the group felt about it. And it was really eye-opening. For example, one time we got into talking about our families, and others shared their close relationships with certain family members. And I realized because of my past, I didn't have those. But in a way, I was able to reflect upon the relationships that I do have, my friends and the few family members that are close to me. It helped me to treasure those. So, and I like the fact too that it's unscripted, that you have the reflections, the comments that you're reading, and you get to think and shuffle your thoughts, because then it's your turn to talk. And so it was really nice not to have to work on something for many days for presentation. It was freeing to be able to speak from the heart. So I really appreciate the group.
Got it. I thank you, Joe. I feel as if I'm going to be repeating what so many have already said. Like Dave, I was late to the party. I wasn't really sure that I wanted to be involved in such a group. But then Greg sent me an email reminding me that I had signed up, which I hadn't remembered signing up, but thank goodness he sent me the email, so I was able to join the group. It's been a treasure. It's a treasure to explore ideas, spiritual ideas in confidence, knowing that I have a group that I can express myself, like Pat said, in confidence without what's the word I want? Retribution, without recriminations. I can just speak my mind in confidence. That's a treasure. I love that about Unitarian Universalism. It's what drew me to UUs in the first place. And I joined a church for the first time in my entire life, which has been very short, by the way. Yes, I joined because there are no beliefs absolutely required. We can explore our own thinking, our own beliefs, our own interpretations. There are no rules from on high. And the covenant group gives us a chance to explore that. Sometimes on the fly, sometimes, like Joe said, we discover things about ourselves we hadn't really taken time to observe. And we can do that in the confidence of a group that we love and we know will love us back and hold our thoughts and emotions and everything else in confidence. It's a treasure. It's a treasure. We do this, as the church says, and one of our principles, we love each other unconditionally. And probably my favorite line, and you've heard me say it so many times, of the whole UU church doctrine. We don't have doctrine, I'm sorry, it's the wrong word. The canon, perhaps, might be a better word. We need not think alike to love alike. And the covenant group gives us a chance to express that. That's it.
I want to begin by saying how much I appreciated the opportunity to be involved in the covenant group. It was unlike anything I've ever been involved in. We explored covenant values from so many different backgrounds, from so many different people, and it was so interesting. Experiences and insights that were shared allowed me to look at things from a different perspective almost every time. Many times, those insights and experiences made me laugh out loud. It wasn't all just hardcore sharing, it was a lot of fun. One of our first topics, and it might have been the first topic, was threshold. For me, this was a threshold experience. It led to facing some things that I did not want to face in the past, and gaining an understanding and beginning to make peace with it. You might say, actually, that this has been a game changer for me. Thank you.
I just wanted to share my sense of gratitude for the experience to the members of the group. I learned a lot about myself, but I really developed a great affection, admiration, and commitment to the people with whom I shared over these last 9 months. And I just wanted to say a public thank you for your courage, for your intelligence, for your vulnerability, and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
All.
Let me mention another key element, Reverend Kristina. Although she doesn't attend the gatherings, they're all peer-led. She provides supportive guidance, awesome source material, and is available for any questions that go beyond the group's limitations. I recently spoke with Reverend Kristina about what covenant groups mean to our church. She okayed me recording her comments so I could share them with you, and we can listen now. So, Reverend Kristina, what are your thoughts about what role do covenant groups play for our congregation?
I want to preface this by saying how much I loved covenant groups when I was a congregant, when I was just a layperson in my home congregation. So covenant groups give congregants the opportunity to get to deepen their relationships with others, but also with themselves. They give the individuals and the group an opportunity to explore different topics, spiritual topics. And I've been thinking about how covenant groups, in other faith traditions, they will have a scripture study of the Bible, of the Torah, of whatever. And we don't have anything like that. In part because I like to say that we consider all of the books to be sacred. But one of the ways that Unitarian Universalism is really unique is that we really prioritize lived experience as a sacred text. And so in a way, this is kind of like having a Bible study without the Bible, right? We're studying and exploring our own insights, perspectives, and then because of the structure and because of the topics, then you get an opportunity to talk with others about what their experiences and insights and questions and curiosities and all of those things are. And it really creates a rich experience and helps widen our perspective and view and just meaning, the sense of meaning that we have that's related to our lives. And sometimes people think that the purpose of a church or the way that the relationships in a church work are that, they come to church on Sunday mornings or whatever, and, you get to hear the minister preach and that's satisfying for some people, but some people are really looking for more. And what's so important about covenant groups is it gives people that opportunity to connect with each other. I love getting to know y'all. And also there's a lot more of you for me to get to know. And I can't create the kind of deep relationships with everyone that you guys have the opportunity to create with each other by doing these covenant groups. And so there's just so much that's really great about them. And I think that having the opportunity to have the covenant groups be in alignment, the themes for the covenant groups be in alignment with the spiritual themes of the church that we're exploring. So people can think about what I've talked about in services or what other people have talked about in services, or they can talk about other things with the way that the format of the program is set up with the guided questions and quotes for people to explore, or you can hear something that somebody else says and you're like, oh man, that really made me think, and go off of that. It's just, there's so much, it's such a great way for connecting people. And again, not only with others, but also with themselves, and then also with that which is greater than we are, however we define that.
I love the context you put it in. What was going through my mind, and it was my experience as well, is that as a participant, you're not just a passive receiver, you are creating as well. You're creating meaning, you're creating opportunities for yourself and others. Yeah. Well, great. We'll look forward to kicking something off this fall.
Yeah. I'm really excited that we're doing this again. It was such a gift to be able to offer this last year for the congregation. And I was so delighted that people really embraced the opportunity. And I can't wait to hear what happens this year.
Good, thanks. If you'd like to learn more from Reverend Kristina, she'll be live on our church Zoom this coming Tuesday, September 21st at 4 p.m. She'll provide more information, lead sample exercises, and answer questions. There's more information about this in e-news and the Quill, or you can contact me at any time. Summer is passing, and fall is arriving, with new possibilities in store. We invite you to consider the opportunities for spiritual growth that can arise from this personal experience in treasured community.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
These closing words are from the Reverend Joanna Fontaine Crawford, minister of Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church in Austin, Texas. They appeared in UU World Spring 2016. A covenant group is like a gym for the soul. As a participant, you get to exercise what it means to be human, to use a phrase from Unitarian luminary James Luther Adams. Your mini community models mutual respect as members practice deep listening to one another. Your spirit becomes stronger as you stretch to accommodate new ideas, as you wrestle with your own conclusions, and as you learn to compassionately hold the space for another member to process their own experiences. join or form a covenant group. Your life will be better. You will be better.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We come now to the extinguishing of our flame with words by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Never has it been more true than now. We extinguish this flame, but the sparks within us remain alight. From each of us, in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparking through space one to another, connecting us invisibly but palpably. We are one, and from every window our light shines.